Hello, what up? It's John, your movie madman, and I'm back. So today is the last of my top 69 videos. So this is my last celebrating 69 subscribers video as well, part 3. It's Friday, and you're going to find out my top 23. Okay, so number 22 is Shaun of the Dead. I've talked a lot about Shaun of the Dead before. Most of you have probably seen it. Most of you have probably seen this package as well. But that doesn't matter, you know, because I will be doing a video on the Cornetto trilogy, talking about what they're like in 4K and all that malarkey. So you've got that to look forward to, haven't you? Number 21 is my favourite Christopher Nolan movie, which is Tenet. Now, some people might not agree with Tenet being Christopher Nolan's best film, but that's their opinion, not mine. So my opinion says that Tenet is his best film. People might not agree with that, but that's up to them really, isn't it? You don't have to agree with me, because that's your opinion, not mine. My number 20 is Hot Fuzz, my favourite Cornetto trilogy movie, my favourite Edgar Wright movie. I think one of the reasons this beats The World's End and Shaun of the Dead for me is just because I just find it funnier. And like I've said in some of the other videos, this is one of those films that makes me laugh a lot every time I watch it. My number 19 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is the new cut, obviously the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, rather than the Justice League, as people like to call it these days. Justice League, as in the Josh Whedon version. This is the Zack Snyder version. Loved it. Probably the longest film that I've seen the most amount of times in the shortest space of time. I mean, considering the film's not even been out for a year yet, and I think I've seen it 4 or 5 times this year. So my number 18 is my next Bong Joon-ho film on my list, which is Mother. Foreign one again. Most of Bong Joon-ho films are foreign, to be fair, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. A lot of twists in there that you don't see coming. A lot of the things that happen in that film, you think the film's going to be predictable, but it turns out it's really not. My number 17 is Mission Impossible Fallout. This is Mission Impossible 6, the latest one. I very much look forward to the next one, but easily one of the greatest action films I've ever seen. So if you haven't seen Mission Impossible Fallout and you like stupid action and Tom Cruise, there you go. Really good stuff, really good stuff. I'll do a 4K review of that one day. Something for you to get excited about. My number 16 is the only digital film in my top 20 list, and that is Okja, which is another Bong Joon-ho movie. This is the one that was released through Netflix, obviously, hence it being on Netflix. But yeah, that's one of his only films that's got English speaking in it. So it's not all English, but there's a lot of English speaking in it, and it's just it's got a very good message. Has Okja, very good message. My number 15 is Funny Games. This is the 2007 version of Funny Games. This is the English version, although the German version is basically exactly the same as the English version. I think it's made by the same director, written by the same people, even shot on the same sets. The only thing that looks different is that it's in English and it has different actors. But yeah, Funny Games, one of those films that people love until it gets to a certain point in the film, and then they're like, no, I don't like this film anymore. But I didn't care, I loved it. It's original, it's very mean. It is a very mean film, I'll tell you that. My number 14 is Scream. This version that I'm holding here isn't the uncut version, it's just the 18 version, but I do have the full uncut version as well. I was reading rumours today that it comes out in 4K soon, and apparently it might be the full uncut version in 4K, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But if you guys haven't seen Scream, absolutely brilliant horror film, very well written. I've done a video about Scream before, so we won't go into that. My number 13, lucky number 13, is Train to Busan. If you guys love zombie movies, this is the best zombie movie I've ever seen in my life. It's so tense and it's so well done. Very, very good zombie movie, and it's foreign as well. My number 12 is Prisoners. There's not really much I can say about this film without ruining any of it, but it's so good. Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal are both incredible in this film, as well as some of the other actors in this film are also give incredible performances. It's directed very well as well. Love films with good directors. I'm not going to bother pronouncing his name because I'm sure that someone will correct me. But if you want to know what his name is, look it up. Just look it up. It's not hard. My number 11 is my next Bong Joon-ho film on my list, which is Memories of Murder. This is another Korean one. Bit brutal in places. Good murder investigation if you like films about murder investigations and you like Korean films. Definitely get on that. Now we've reached my top 10. Now there are 11 films in my top 10, so work that out. My number 10 is 1917. I love this film for so many different reasons. Probably one of the most frequent films I watched last year. I saw this film many times last year. I've only watched it once I think this year, so that's quite disappointing. I might have to watch that again soon actually. But yeah, absolutely amazingly shot as well. My number 9 is in my next Bong Joon-ho movie, which is Barking Dogs Never Bite. You might be thinking, you're saying Bong Joon-ho a lot. It's like that's because Bong Joon-ho is my favourite director. So I think pretty much all of his films, if not all of his films, are in my top 25. So I'm sorry if you don't like Bong Joon-ho. You might not agree with some of my top films, but Barking Dogs Never Bite, very funny film, especially if you understand the context of the film. If you don't, you'll probably be a little bit upset, but we won't go there. My number 8 is 1978 Halloween. This is the original Halloween. This is one of the most original slasher films as well. Back in those days when slasher films weren't a thing, I think this was one of the first proper slasher movies. If you like things like that, there's little bits in Scream that dig at Halloween and things like that, but we love Halloween. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's 4K as well, good 4K. I'm pretty sure I've done a review for Halloween before, so we won't go into that. My number 7 is my favourite David Fincher movie, which is Gone Girl. Love Gone Girl again. Very good investigation type film. It's a bit long, but we won't hold that against it. It's just incredible in so many different ways. It's Gone Girl. I'll be doing a book versus film video on that just to get you excited. It might surprise you. My number 6 is another Bong Joon-ho movie, and that is The Host. This is my favourite monster movie. Bad CGI, but we won't hold that against it. I have done a review for this film as well. If you look at some of my earlier videos on my channel, one of my first reviews was for The Host. Probably need to do it again, to be fair, because my first reviews were pretty terrible, a bit like this video. My number 5 is Mandy. Obviously this film's red. There's a lot of red in this film. There's so many sequences in this film that are shot in red or have a red background. There's a lot of red. It's not the only reason I like this film, but it sells it very well for me. I think Nicolas Cage is hilarious in this film, like he is with most of his roles. But Mandy's a very good revenge movie if you like stuff like that. My number 4 is probably my favourite horror film ever made, as well as my favourite Stanley Kubrick movie, which is The Shining. Don't know if I've done a 4K review on this, but if I haven't, I will be. Probably do a series on Stanley Kubrick 4K actually, because all Stanley Kubrick films that I've seen so far are incredible to see in 4K, so this is not an exception. You know about The Shining if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it by now, it's probably because you're not interested, but it's very incredible 4K as well, which helps. It does help. Doesn't sell a film, doesn't necessarily make a film a good movie just because it's in 4K, but it helps if you've got films that you love watching them in 4K. Just brings it up a little bit. 4 to go now. My number 3 is my favourite Bong Joon-ho movie, if you haven't guessed by now. That's Parasite. I love this film. I feel like I'll be saying that a lot. I have said it a lot, but yeah, whatever. I just love this film. There's so many things about this film that I love. I saw this film a few times last year as well. I saw this film a few times in the cinema as well, including watching the black and white version in the cinema. So, big seller all round. Parasite, favourite foreign film, favourite Bong Joon-ho film, favourite thriller. It's just, there's so many favourites I could say about this film. My number 2 is my favourite animated film, which is SpiderMan Into the Spider-Verse. As you may already know, this is the only film to beat Pixar to the Oscars, so I was quite happy about that as well. The animation, the colour. I've done a review on SpiderMan Into the Spider-Verse before, so I don't need to go too much into it, but wow, it's just so good. It really is just so good. So there's 2 left now, so work that out. My number 1 is Watchmen, as you probably know. I'm pretty sure I've done a review for Watchmen already, so I don't need to tell you what I love about it. It's not the best 4K Blu-ray I've ever seen, but it's one of the best films I've ever seen, and it's quite long as well, so love Watchmen. Favourite Zack Snyder movie as well, obviously, and that's my number 1. And then lastly my number 0. Now you might be thinking, that's a bit stupid, you've got a number 0, why isn't your number 0 just your number 1? And I can explain that, because you see I've got this list, see that? It's a very long list, 69, and when I watched The Elephant Man, which is my number 0, as you probably know, I wanted to add it to the top of my list, but it meant going through 69 films and changing all those numbers, and I couldn't be bothered, so I just put it at number 0. So technically it's the film that's above my number 1, so that is the favourite. The one that's above your number 1 is your favourite. So that's The Elephant Man. I've already done a video on why I love The Elephant Man. So that's it, that's my top 69. I believe I'm on 70 subscribers now, so that's quite exciting. My next big video, celebrationary wise, will be when I get to 100 subscribers. So keep those subscriptions coming in, because when I get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to give you a tour of my entire Blu-ray, 4K and DVD collection. Most of it is on the shelves that this camera is balanced on. Obviously you can see some of them behind me there. But yeah, when I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to give you a little tour, maybe show you my telly and my 4K Blu-ray player and stuff like that. See how we go. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed those videos this week. I'll be back to book versus film, Christopher Nolan movies and 4K reviews next week. If you could like this video though, I'd appreciate that. If you could subscribe to the channel as well, that would be amazing. And I'll see you guys again on Monday. Alright, goodbye.